This is Math Let's Review Part 9, focusing on factoring trinomials. So all the given are trinomials, so we are going to uh, factor them. So we start with number 1. So what I usually do is I create two parentheses. So I start by asking. So second step would be I'll ask what are the factors of x squared. So uh, that would be x and x, and then I'll write it down. Next, I will be going to the third term. The third term is negative 16. So what are the factors of negative 16 that gives a sum of negative 6 or a difference of negative 6? So 16, you can have factors of 16. So you list it down. It can be 1 and 16. It can be 2 and 8. And it can be 4 and 4. Since um, we have a negative sign, that means one of the factors would be negative. So we start by we continue by asking again ourselves, will when we subtract 1 and 16, um, will that give us 6? No, it can either give us either a positive 15 or a negative 15. And for 2 and 8, when we subtract 2 and 8, will that give us a possible answer of 6? The answer is yes, because when we subtract 2 by 8, that will give us negative 6. So our answer will be plus 2 and minus 8. Question, why is the minus sign with 8? Because our symbol here, our operation is minus. So it would mean that the bigger factor will have the minus sign. So that would be for um, for number 1. So we moved on to number 2. Number 2, so again, we have our parenthesis. Let's try to see if it will fit in the given space. So factors of x, we have factors of x squared, we have x and x. Next, we list down the factors of 24. Here, 24. So that's the last term. So 24, go back. So 24, list down the factors. So we start with 1. 1 will be paired with 24 because 1 times 24 is 24. And we move to 2. 2 and 12. Then we have 3 and 8. Then we have 4 and 6. Okay, so now we find their sum. So the sum will be, we are using sum because both the second and the third term are positive. So factors, so if we add 1 and 24, will that give us 14? The answer is no. How about 2 and 12? Will that give us 14? The answer is yes. So our factors will be 2 and 12. So that would be plus 2 plus 12. Actually, you don't need to list everything because as you are writing the factors of the numbers, if you can already see that you have found the possible pairs, then you can stop there. You don't need to really list everything. Okay, we moved on to number 3. So we have factors of uh, x squared. So we have x and x. And next we look for the factors of 7. So there's only one pair of factors for 7 because 7 is a prime number. So you just have to write 1 and 7. So since this is positive and this is negative, so it would mean that the product will have the same sign. So since the middle term is negative, then we will have minus sign for both 1 and 7. So x minus 1 times x minus 7 are the factors of x squared minus 8x plus 7. Next, number 4. So number 4, we will be having again the of uh, pairs of for our factors, pairs of parentheses. So we have x and x. So that would be x squared. And factors of 9, that gives you 8. That's just 1 and 9. So we don't need to list it actually. So since this is 8, this is negative, the last term is negative, that means they will have different signs. But we look at the middle term. Since the middle term is negative, then we give the minus sign to the bigger number, which is 9. Therefore, the one will have a positive sign. So the factors of x squared minus 8x minus 9 are x plus 1 times x minus 9. Next would be, we have the second set of uh, factors. So again, we write x and x, and then factors of 5, that gives you 4. So factors of 5, that gives a difference of 4, so that's x and 1. Since this is positive, then we give the plus sign to the bigger number. The smaller number will have the minus sign. Okay, so these ones are a bit easier because our last terms are the last term of number 5 is a prime number. Moving on to our number 6. So we write x in x as our first factor. And since it would be hard to have the to identify right away the factors of 36, that gives a difference of 5. So we write down 36. Oops. So 36. Okay. So 36. You have 1 and 36. And we have 2 and 18, 3 and 12. So with the list, it's not yet there. That will give a difference of 5. So we have 4 and 9. So looking at 4 and 9, it will, if we subtract 4 and 9, it will give us a 5. So we'll be using 4 and 9. So again, you will have different signs because the last term is negative, but the middle term is positive, so we give the positive sign to the bigger number. So x minus 4 times x plus 9. Number 7 given is n squared minus 15 plus 44. So we will have our pairs, two pairs of braces, factors of n squared. We have n and n. Factors of 44, that gives a sum of 15. So we can list down the factors. We have 1 and 44. So if we add 1 and 44, it will not give us a sum of 15. So we have 2 and 22. So adding 2 and 22 also will not add to 15. 3 is not a factor of 44, so we move to 4. So we have 4 and 11. Adding 4 and 11, will it give a sum of 15? The answer is yes. So we have to use 4 and 11. So since the last term is positive, it means that the signs of 4 and 11 will be the same. But the middle term is negative, so it means that we will be using minus for both. So the factors of n squared minus 15n plus 44 are n minus 4 and n minus 11. Okay, moving on to our next number, y squared minus 10 minus plus y minus 110. So what are the factors of y? So it will be y and y. Factors of 110, that gives us difference of 1. So there's an invisible 1 here. So we can now list down our factors of 110. So we cannot have 1 and 110. So let's try. I'll just write it down. So 1 and 110 will not give a difference of 1. So we will have 2. 2 and 55. So if we subtract 2 and 55, will it give a sum or a difference of 1? The answer is no. Then we move to 3. 3 is not a factor of 110, nor 4. So we will have 5. 5. Then we will have 22. So subtracting 5 and 22 will not give us an answer of 1. Then we move to 10. So we'll have 10. 10 and 11. When we subtract 10 and 11, will give us a difference of 1. The answer is yes. So we'll have 10 and 11. So since the last term is minus, it means that the operation of the two factors will be opposite. and the middle term gives a positive sign. That means we give the positive sign to the larger number, that's 11, and the smaller number 10 will have 10. So the factors of y squared plus y minus 110 are y minus 10 and y minus 11. Moving on to our number 9. So we have the factors, pairs of uh, parentheses. So factors of x squared are x and x. And we have to find the factors of 55. That gives 16, a sum of 16. So actually, by looking at it, we can have actually directly 11 and 5, right? So you can still do the process that I did with the previous numbers, but here it's actually obvious that 55 factors of 55 you have 11 and 5. So I'll just put in 5 here and 11. Now our problem would be the sign. So our third term is positive, so we are sure that we will have the same operation, but the middle term is negative, so we will be following that one. Negative and negative. Negative 5 plus negative 11 gives us negative 16, while negative 5 times negative 11 gives you positive 55. Number 10, so we have x squared minus 13x plus 12. So we have x and x. So now we look at the third term, factors of 12. That gives you a sum of 13. So that's easy to figure out because 1 times 12 is 12 and 1 plus 12 is 13. So we have 1 and 12. The last term is positive, and we are sure that both will have the same um, signs. So we have, and the middle term is minus, so we'll be using minus symbol. So that will be negative 1 plus negative 12 is negative 13. Negative 1 times negative 12 is positive 12. So the factors of x squared minus 13 plus 12 are x minus 1 and x minus 12. Next would be x squared minus 10x plus 21. So that will be factors of x squared. We have x and x. And we have 21. Factors of 21, we have 7 and 3. Right? 7 times 3 is 21. Is 7 plus 3 equals to 10? Yes. So we have 7 and 3. We'll be using 7 and 3. The last term, the sign is plus 21. So both will have the same sign. But we check the middle term. Since the middle term is minus, then we will be following that sign. So negative 7 times negative 3 is positive 21. Negative 7 plus negative 3 is negative 10. So the factors of x squared minus 10x plus 21 are x minus 7 and x minus 3. Number 12, we have k squared minus 9k plus 14. So we have k factors of 14 that gives a sum of 9. So that's easy to figure out without listing everything because we know that 14 has have 2 and 7 as factors. So we are going to write down 2 and 7 here. Check the last term of the given. That's positive and the middle is negative. So positive, both will have the same sign. Negative, then we will be using that symbol, minus 2 and minus 7. Negative 2 plus negative 7 is negative 9. Negative 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. So the factors of k squared minus 9k plus 14 are k minus 2 and k minus 7. 13. This is the second to the last slide. So y squared minus 12y plus 11. So, the numbers are smaller and easier to figure out the factors. So we have y as the factors of y squared. Factors of 11 that gives a sum of 12. So that's easy to figure out. That's 1 and 11. Alright? So last term is positive. Both will have the same sign, but middle term is minus. So we'll be following the symbol of the middle term. So negative 1 plus negative 11 gives us negative 12. Negative 1 times negative 11 gives us positive 11. So the factors of y squared minus 12y plus 11 are y minus 1 and y minus 11. Moving on to our next number. So next number would be x squared minus 7x plus 12. So factors would be, factors of x squared are x and x. So x and x. And factors of 12, that gives you a sum of 7. That would be 3 and 4, right? 3 and 4. So 3 plus 4 is 7, and 3 times 4 is 12. So again, to determine the signs, you look at the last um, sign of the third term. That's plus or positive. So both will have the same signs. While the middle term is negative, so we'll be using the negative or the minus sign. So x minus 3 and x minus 4. Negative 3 plus negative 4 is negative 7. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. So the factors of x squared minus 7x plus 12 are x minus 3 and x minus 4. So next would be factors of x squared minus 22x plus 21. So we have x and x, and factors of 21 that gives you a sum of 2. So that is simply 1 and 21. So that will give us now 21 positive. So both will have the same sign, and since this is negative, the middle term, then we'll be using minus for both. So negative 1 plus negative 21 is negative 22. Negative 1 times negative 21 is positive 21. Next. last slide. This is our last slide. So it would look more complicated because there are already two variables. But we don't have to be afraid with these variables because they're just there as part of the factors. So do not get scared. We start with the letters. So factors of x squared. So that's x and x. Factors of y, we have y. The factors of y squared are y and y. So we now find the factors of 24 that gives a sum of 10. So that will be 6 and 4. 6 plus 4 is 10. 6 times 4 is 24. So we will have 4 and 6. We write it beside y. And since looking at the signs and the operations in the second and third term, they're both positive, it's easy to just figure out that our operations in both factors will be plus. So we have now 4y plus 6y is 10y. 4y times 6y is 24y. So the factors of x squared plus 10xy plus 24y squared are x plus 4y and x plus 6y. So we have now the factors of 17, number 17. So we have a squared minus 13ab plus 42ab. So we write our factors. Start with the letters. Factors of a squared, we have a and a. Factors of b squared, of course, that's b and b. So we are going to write down and figure out the factors of 42 that gives us a sum of 13. So we proceed with, we start with 1 and 42. So when I already familiar with the factors, I actually start searching for numbers that are close. So I don't need to start with 1 and 43, but for beginners, that will be very helpful for you to figure out the factors. So for 42, we have 2 and 22, 3 also a factor. And that would be paired with, what do you think would be the pair of 3? 14, right? 14. 4 is not a factor. 5 is not a factor. 6 is a factor. So 6 and 7. So as you write down the factors, you will have also to start asking yourself if the sum will already give you the middle term. So 6 and 7, will that give us a sum of 13? So the answer is yes. So we'll just have to write in 6 and 7. And then look at the last term. The last term has a positive sign. So both will have the same sign, but the middle term is minus, so we'll be following the sign of the middle term. So that will give us now negative 6b minus 7b is negative 13b, negative 6b times negative 7b is 42b squared. So the factors of a squared minus 13ab plus 42b squared are a minus 6b and a minus 7b. Last number, we have m squared plus 23mn plus 42n squared. So that will have m and n will be the factors also of n squared, n and n. So look at the numbers, factors of 42, that gives you 23 as the sum. So we list down 42. So since I have 42 here, I'll not rewrite, so I'll just look at the factors in number 17 so that it would be easier, or else I'm just wasting my time. So if you have already some numbers that you have already written in your paper, then go back to those numbers. So among the list, um, it's this one, 2 and 42 and 21, that when added gives you 23. So I'll have 2. So I'll just have 2 here because my space is smaller, and I'll have 21 here because I have larger space. So since both the middle and the last term have positive signs, then I'll have plus here. Plus and a plus. So to check, 21n plus 2n is 23mn, 23. No, don't mind the m. So 2 times 21 plus 2 is 23. 21 times 2 is 42. So that would be the factors of m squared plus 23mn plus 42n squared are m plus 2mn, 21n times m plus 2n. This is factoring trinomials for our part 9 of our review. So do not forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for notification, or that's notification. Hit the bell icon for notification so that you'll be updated with new videos that will be uploaded in my channel. Thank you so much, and have a good day.